Dan Johnson here at AirVenture 2011, and in the ultralight area speaking with Terry Raber, who's back in the business of an airplane, making an airplane that I have always really loved. This particular one here we're looking at, the Aerolite 103, is just been sold to a 14-year-old boy, and tell us a little bit about how that went, Terry.
Well, he's been flying a 172. He's got about 250 hours.
Wow.
And his problem is he can't solo in a 172.
Right, too young.
He has his own airplane. So what he's done is his mom gave him permission to come to the show, and his dad, to find an airplane. His neighbor brought him, and to find an airplane is exactly what he wanted. He bought it, and I'm delivering it after the show.
What a great story.
14 years old.
And Part 103, for those of you watching that don't know, no pilot license is required, no N number is required, and of course no medical is required. So a 14-year-old boy, of course with the qualifications to do so safely, we have to say, is legally able to do that. And what a cool thing of the bunch of us gray hairs running around in aviation today. My goodness, we need more of that. What did the young fella have to spend to get this airplane?
This airplane was $13,000 for him.
And that's a ready-to-fly airplane?
That's a ready-to-fly. Now,
and that's with engine or not?
Yes, that's complete, as you see it. Now, the only thing he paid extra for was the ballistic parachute, because it's got a parachute on it.
Excellent. So, $13,000. There are people out there decrying the cost of aircraft. Well, you haven't looked far enough yet then, obviously. And if you miss this airplane with these colors, now I'm not sure I go with the pink and the orange here, but
I gotta change it.
My goodness,
Yeah.
if you miss this airplane, you had your eyes closed. It's about blinding me to look at you, but that's great. I love it.
Yeah. And price actually on a new airplane. This one was a demo airplane. It's got 23 hours.
Also, give
so
me
it's
the brand new.
$14,000.
Oh my goodness!
It's a whole $1,000 more. But this one had 23 hours on it, and in my demo planes, I always knock about $2,000 off. So.
Well, that's cool. So 14 grand now. That doesn't include the engine. Doesn't include a full tank of gas, but that's a small cost.
The way it's equipped, the airplane has brakes. It comes with all the instruments you see: an airspeed indicator, an altimeter, an exhaust gas temperature, cylinder head temperature, and the tachometer, and a clock.
All you possibly need to fly this airplane.
Brakes, has
including
flaps.
a whole wind speed meter. One of my favorite devices.
So it's a fully loaded airplane for that price.
And you're not buying something that's brand new to the industry either. This has been an award winner for many years here at E.A.A. and
How many 103s are out there? Aerolite
131.
131.
When
was the first one?
The prototype flew in 1996,
okay.
and I debuted it here at Oshkosh in 1997. And that was the first one you flew.
Okay, so that's
You
14
flew number
years
one.
this airplane has been around.
Yep.
And the first one was great, which is a nice statement in itself, and I'm guessing you haven't forgotten the magic.
Oh, no.
So, the engine that you're using on this airplane?
It's a Hearth F33. It's 28 horse. It's a single cylinder.
Single cylinder, right?
It's got a belt reduction. It's a two-stroke. It's got dual CDI ignition, so you have 2 spark plugs. You also have 2 independent systems, just like a regular airplane.
Got electric start on it too.
It's got electric start. It's got a battery. So it's like a real airplane. It's just the convenience as it fits into Part 103.
You got to ask, well, what else do you want? Do you want autopilot on this thing? I don't think so, but
I'm actually working with a guy right now with, but we'll talk.
No,
that's
don't
later.
tell me that. This is supposed to be having some fun. I'm not
It's
saying
just for
that.
the fun
If
factor.
you like that kind of stuff, it's cool.
It's
I'm
the
sure
fun
you
factor.
can put some other electronic gizmos in there.
The other
Somebody insisted.
the other good thing about it, especially for that 14-year-old, is he's using basically the same control system as what he's using in his 172.
Yes.
Yeah, he should. Well, everybody needs some transition training. We just spoke to another potential customer here who asked about that, another GA pilot. It's a piece of cake to fly it, but that doesn't mean you just get in it and do it. There are differences. These get off the ground quick. They climb kind of steep. They're light boats in rough water sometimes, and you have to be aware of those things, but certainly nothing challenging about it. But everybody, I'm sure you encourage, needs some transition
Oh
training.
yes, definitely.
So for the fellow, this young kid with 250 hours, that's pretty amazing. But if he only had 50 hours, what would you tell him he ought to do to be prepared to fly this airplane safely?
The main thing with the difference between this and a regular airplane like he's flying is the inertia, the weight of the aircraft, along
Kinetic
with
energy,
the higher
yeah.
drag. So you've got the high inertia energy versus no energy, high drag versus very low drag. These airplanes are lightweight, so when you put the flaps down, it really slows down quickly. So you got to be ready to lower the nose.
Did we mention it had flaps too?
Yep, electric flaps. That's what's nice about the airplane. It's set up conventional, just like a 152 or 172. It's got a yoke for your control. So it's a normal 3-axis. You got your normal rudder pedals with the steerable nose wheel in the front. You have your throttle right here. This is for your brakes.
A conventional throttle now. You started out with a little different arrangement.
And I love that. That's my favorite, but this is conventional.
Yeah, that was all a one-hand operation. That was cool, but a little too non-conventional for some
Exactly,
folks.
and that's why I've switched it. It's available optional for people.
It still
but
is,
standard is, you got a yoke here and you got a throttle there.
Now, what about the aircraft? How are you offering it to the public? Is it coming out in kit form, coming out ready to fly? How's it available?
I specialize in ready-to-fly single-seat ultralight. So the airplane comes ready to fly. It's built just like this. If you were to want a kit, I will sell a kit, but only if they've built about 2 airplanes. If they've built 2 airplanes previous, then I will sell them a kit.
Okay.
Because I've built so many, I've sold many kits, but I don't enjoy teaching people how to build. I'd rather just build it myself and they come and pick up a ready-to-fly airplane.
Against $14,000, I mean, what? First of all, I don't get it why you'd even bother, but what would it save?
It wouldn't save them anything. Because right now...
Only the pleasure of putting it together
Exactly.
and knowing what the parts are and how they fit. Okay.
And right now I've been running the special, being it's been slow, is I do the ready to fly for free, which is normally $3,000.
Okay, so
that's where the kit price is $14,000 with the engine and everything, but I build it for free right now.
okay.
So you get a really good value.
Boy, that is a special
Now's the time
value.
to buy. Exactly.
If you like what you're hearing here, you ought to act quick because that's, well, what can you say? $14,000. You can't buy the average small car anymore for about 22, I think is the number they're saying.
Exactly.
This is 1/3 less than that, and you got a ready-to-fly airplane that I'll tell you flies very nicely. Now, if this is not some 120-knot aircraft, what's the cruise speed?
I cruise at about anywhere from 55 to 60 mile per hour. Stall speed plane is 28.
28.
With flaps is 26. And that's with a standard FAA 170-pound pilot.
Excellent stuff.
I'm burning about 2 to 2.5 gallons an hour too, so it's just sipping on the gas.
Doesn't mean you can't go all the way across the U.S. It's just going to take you a little more time. But, you know, watching the landscape flow by at 55 miles an hour, if you're a pilot that hasn't done that, you ought to check it out because that's some really nice flying anyway. But for this price, shoot, if you got to go fast, we'll buy something else too.
Yes.
You could add this and tuck it away in the garage and have a second airplane for on the very inexpensive. What else do you want to show us about the airplane that's significant, Terry? Well, let's go back. From 1996 until now, is there anything that changed that you, besides the throttle arrangement that we talked about, anything that changed that, yeah, we needed to do that, now we've done it?
No, nothing has changed on the airplane. The only thing that has changed is there for a while, the market was demanding, we called them fat ultralights. They had too big of an engine and they were overweight. So now it's just everything's back to the original specs, like the one you fly, which is actually 100% legal. This airplane, as you see it, weighs 249 pounds.
249 pounds. For those that have forgotten, 254 is the magic number down here, and there's a special thing that goes with the parachute that's basically not counted toward that. So the addition of an emergency airframe parachute, which I'm a big believer in, and I know you are too,
Yep.
and thank goodness your new buyer was, doesn't hurt you, but here you are, a full 5 pounds underneath it, with electric start, with flaps, with brakes, with
Wheel
an enclosure. I don't know what else there's. I'm running out of things we should say
Kitchen
because
sink.
you just need to get your checkbook out and do it quick before he pulls that order back. But you know, even then, 17,000, and someday after you can't afford to give that part away, still
a
an
good
incredible bargain, no question.
And my goal has always been not to build the most. I want to build the best and make it affordable. That's what I've always wanted to do with aviation. I love aviation.
Really?
I fly.
That's hard to believe.
You know. So I want to make it available to as many people as possible.
Terry, where are you located?
I am in Holmesville, Ohio, Northeast Ohio, out in the nice farm Amish country. Beautiful place to fly, nice rolling hills.
And normally about this point we say, gosh, where should we go on the web to find you? But here you are, blazing colors.
Fly103.com.
Fly103.com, a short little address. 103 is the magic of Part 103. That's why the number. It's also the airplane name. It's a great web address, by the way. If you can't remember that, you're not paying attention. So fly103.com.
And I understand you actually did have a flight in one of these.
I got to fly the first one, and I'm looking forward to flying a newer one again as soon as we can, because I love this airplane the first time around. I'll bet I'll love it just as much now. That is available on buydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com. This video and many other videos are available on aircraftreporters.tv.
Subscribe to the Lightsport and Ultralight Flyer web video magazine with hundreds and hundreds of videos now online, including airshow coverage, Rotax engine tech tips, Rotax 377, 447, 503, 532, and 582 engine rebuilding videos, each 2 hours in length, propeller maintenance, advisories and repairs, VRS parachute saves, Bing carb updates, and much, much more. Get a yearly subscription at www.ultralightflyer.com.